So welcome everyone. I am delighted that you are here. I hope the summit was of value to you. These um, these closing ceremonies, at least for me, are incredibly valuable and important because as the creator of this, along with all of the speakers, we have been holding the space. You know, if you guys work with energy, if you facilitated or coached, you understand that concept. And so, with these closing ceremonies, we are closing out the summit. We are closing out the energies and releasing the field. And so, I appreciate all of you being here to participate in that. So, I'm just going to invite all of you to manage your mute button if you would, just so that we don't have background noise. And if I get a chance and I see that, I'll mute you as well.
Your volume seems to be low, Stephanie.
Does it? I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
for me anyway.
Okay. I appreciate you sharing that. Is anybody else having trouble or do I sound low? Okay, so I don't know, Damien, if it would be helpful if you've got your volume knob that you could just, if you have a way to turn me up, because others are saying they can hear me okay. I'll try to speak a little bit louder, but I know sometimes as I get in the energies and um, I'll go a little soft, so I'll try to stay on top of that. Thank you for letting me know. As far as video, as a facilitator, as a teacher, it is always meaningful and helpful and helps with the energy exchange to see live faces and see reactions and to feel that interaction with you because when we're not all in the same room together, the energies feel different. And at the same time, I honor that if you are not in a place where you want to be seen, or you just woke up, or you're just wanting to stay contained, I absolutely respect that. I have been there myself as well. So if you're open to sharing your video, I don't care if you just woke up, you have sleep in your eyes, you got a hat on, your hair is sideways. I am just very happy that you are here and a part of this. And so, if you participated in the opening ceremonies or if you watched them afterwards, I called in the directions according to the Pachacuti Mesa tradition that I practice. And so, when we open the mesa or open a ceremony, that is the process that we do. And then the ceremonial altar ground is open. And so, I am treating today as a continuation of that. And so at the very end of our ceremonies today, I will tone or chant each of the four directions one time each, which is what our process is for closing down the energies. And so right now I'm not going to open the field because it's already open, but I do want to take just a moment to invite all of you to close your eyes and we will just connect in and bring our energetic field, the collective, into a greater degree of harmony. So I just invite you to, take a beautiful, deep, full body breath. And just allow that to move through you and have whatever effect your body needs, whether that's clearing out some energy, or bringing some life force into a certain part of your body, or harmonizing your field. Just allow your breath to work through you as you connect into your own spiritual team, your guides and helpers, archangels, ascended masters, animal helping spirits, our star relatives, ancestors, all the benevolent beings of love and light. You are welcome here. And we call in and connect with, once again, the energies and archetypes, the oversouls, gods and goddesses of this summit. All those who worked in the ethers to bring this together, to help it run smoothly, to activate, to enliven, to bring validation, information, confirmation, clarity, whatever it was that each participant needed. And just imagine, if you will, a rainbow bridge of light. emanating from your heart space and being sent across the miles, across the ocean, across the states, to each other's heart spaces. And just imagine this beautiful crisscross bridge of rainbow light crossing the nation, crossing the globe as we all connect and bring our fields into harmony and resonance. Just feel that sublime connection of what it is and what it means to be in community and to feel connected at a heart level and a soul level. So I invite you to gently open up your eyes, bringing the room softly back into view. And so I want to move into the teachings, kind of weaving together all that we have engaged in, all that we've experienced, all that we have collectively dreamed about and imagined over this last week or so. Bring all of this to a focused point. And so as you well know, humanity is in a cycle of ascension, and we have been for some time. Our collective frequency is raising, dormant cells and light codes are being activated, our consciousness is expanding, and as empaths, we are on the leading edge of this movement, this incredible historic time in human evolution. And so I said this in our opening ceremonies, but I want to say it again, but it is so important to remember, to help us stay centered in the bigger picture, that we chose to be here on purpose. We chose to be here at this point in human evolution so that we could witness, experience, participate in, contribute to this collective ascension process. And so whether you identify as an empath, or you like highly sensitive person or sensitive soul or intuitive, the label isn't as important as the fact that your soul chose to incarnate in the body that you're in, at the time that you did, in the country that you live in the greater family, right? Your blood family, but all of the other people that became your spiritual family. None of these things are by accident. And so, keep in mind that wherever you are in your journey, or just recognizing that you're an empath, or you've been doing this for 10, 20, 30 years, 40 years, there is always more to learn. There is always a deeper place to go into. A teaching that I learned early on in my spiritual awakening, and I share this with so many clients and students, is that, in the beginning, it can be easy to feel like when something comes around again that you've already dealt with, my reaction was always, I've already been here. Why am I doing this again? And then something else would come around, and I'm like, damn it, I already dealt with this 15 years ago. Why is this up again? And then, something else. And I would get so frustrated because I felt like I was doing something wrong. I felt like, my interpretation was, well, it's up again because I didn't get it right the first time. And if you, I'm gonna draw a little picture here because this illustration helps. That if you imagine, let me get to where it'll show up. So if you imagine in 2 dimensions, right, this little dot is that thing. And so we're moving around on our life, and we're going forward, and things are happening, and we're progressing, and then we're like, oh, there's that thing again, dang it. And then we move on, and we're going around, and then we come back, and like, there's that thing again. And so it can feel like we're treading over the same ground, but what is actually happening, if you take that 2-dimensional image and you expand it into 3 dimensions, now we have a spiral. And so when you hit it the first time, you move on, you're going on in your life, things are progressing, and then you hit it the second time, but it's at the next level. And when you come back around to it, you're at the next level. And so every time something comes around for you again, it's there not because you didn't get it right the first time, but because you did get it right the first time. And now you're ready for the next deeper level of it, the next level of engagement, the next bit of gold nuggets, the next, bit of healing that is available to you. And so I offer that because, we had over 1,500, close to 1,600 registrants in this summit. So that means we had the entire spectrum of people that are just waking up to the fact that they're an empath, and people on the other end who, were born knowing it, or who've been teaching it and doing this work for decades and decades. And it doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum, there is always more available to you. And so that is why when I teach, when I facilitate, when I produce summits like this, I'm always calling in that energy, that prayer, that whoever is participating, that it's not just an academic exercise, right? We're not just here gathering information. We are gathering wisdom. We are taking in what is happening on all levels of consciousness, in the wisdom of our bodies, in the intelligence of our cells, in the broader picture perspective of our souls. We are like icebergs. The part of us that's in physical form is just this little tip, but the all of who we are is so much bigger, that iceberg that exists under the water that you don't see. And so I'll be working with this theme throughout our time together here of what's deeper, what's the next step, what are you being called towards? Because at both the personal level and the planetary level, our attention is being drawn to our own healing and holing. That is the process of making whole. We are on an accelerated path. I talked to several of the speakers during our interviews that we don't have the luxury anymore of being able to process things one at a time, right? And we're going to do this one first, and then we're going to do that one second. We are parallel processing. We are drinking from a fire hose. Time is speeding up. Things are accelerated. And so we absolutely have to do our work. We have to apply our tools. We have to apply the discernment, or we are just going to get kind of bowled over. and sometimes we do get bowled over. There's I kind of lovingly refer to it as those times where I just need to sit and stare out the window and drool. And that is okay. Give yourself permission that there are times that is needed. But when you're ready, when you're called, when you're being asked to engage, it is important to remember this bigger perspective that we are being asked to hold higher and higher frequencies. We are being asked to move through our healing and our traumas and our woundings and our ascension process at a faster rate. And so I don't know if I meant to grab a copy of this so I could kind of post it and let you know about it. So I'm trying to pull this from memory. Clarissa Pinkola Estes wrote something called We Were Made for These Times. And so if you just Google that, Clarissa Pinkola Estes, We Were Made for These Times, she talks about the imagery of a ship, that a ship, how it is not meant to stay in the harbor, that it is built to be out on the ocean, to be buffeted, to be tested. It is so inspiring and so amazing. And so I just invite you to go seek that out, if that calls to you. But it is very relevant that we are not meant to just be sitting in the harbor. We are meant to take our vessel and go forth. And so, it's a common experience, I think, that we're all having, but because of isolation, because of chaos in the world, because of so many other factors, it can feel like we are alone. And that is another reason that I wanted to offer this summit, so that you can hopefully leave out of this space, leave out of this container knowing, wow, there are a lot of empaths out there. There are a lot of sensitive souls. There are so many hundreds of thousands and millions of people waking up and wanting to walk in consciousness and wanting to embrace what it is to be a sensitive soul, a spiritual being having a human experience. And so, we are, I brought in the imagery of the tree during the opening ceremonies, that just as big as the root system is of a tree below ground, how broad, how deep, how wide, how thick, that is how the canopy is above ground, right? The crown of the tree, if you will. So there's this balancing of the above and below. And so that metaphor can be used as we navigate our ascension process, that we are 3D, flesh and blood humans, in a way, dying while we are alive, dying to our old selves, dying to the old structures, dying to our lower vibrational selves as we ascend into these higher frequencies. And so we are walkers between the worlds, holding both vibrations. It's a term that my friend and one of the speakers, Judith Corbin Blackburn, calls co-density. We are practicing co-density because we are multidimensional beings, and we are not just living in one dimension of time anymore. And so it can be very disorienting. And so that's another reason that I brought this summit together, so that we could have the tools, we could have the perspective, and recognize that we are not alone in this. We are co-creating with the mystery as we awaken to our cosmic selves, to our cosmic consciousness, our cosmic mission. We are, in essence, the new human blueprint. And I have said in my book, The Evolutionary Empath, that I imagine that some point, hundreds or maybe thousands of years from now, empath won't even be a term. It'll just be synonymous with human, right? And I truly believe that we are all born this way. We are all born with these sensitivities, with these abilities, but our culture, our upbringing, trains it out of us, or it devalues it, and so it goes dormant, or it gets sort of disconnected or ostracized. And so call these parts of yourself back to yourself, because they are absolutely valuable and necessary and needed, because you are a model, you are a guide in the spheres that you operate in, your family sphere, your work sphere, your spiritual sphere, your community sphere. By holding the light, by practicing these tools to stay in your center, to stay seated in your own sovereign throne, right? You are the sovereign ruler of your kingdom, meaning your energy field, your body, your sovereign self. And so the title of this presentation is Your Ascension Throne, a Multidimensional Portal. And so I spoke to this a little bit in our opening ceremonies, and I'm going to go into more detail about it. And in a little while, I'm going to take you through a guided journey to sit in and connect with your own personal ascension throne. And so if you have wondered why all the graphics for the summit show a throne and a tree, this is why. Because as I visioned this summit and called in kind of the overarching themes and guides, those two things came in very, very strongly. And so I want to speak a little bit about the Ascension Throne. It is, if you have my Oracle deck, or, I shared this at the opening ceremonies, empath activation cards, as I was developing the deck, I came across the concept of the Ascension Throne. And so there is this provocative theory that exists amongst some progressive investigators of Egyptian mythology. And the theory posits that the throne of Ptah was actually an ascension vehicle. And so the creation story of many ancient civilizations and cultures, including that of Egypt, speaks of beings coming down from the heavens to impart higher knowledge, right? Science, medicine, architecture, technology, agriculture. And these beings are extraterrestrial. They are our star ancestors. And so this ascension throne was a way to connect with, either literally or etherically, energetically, dimensionally, to these benevolent beings of light. Ptah is commonly known as the divine potter, who brings things into form by modeling earth clay on his potter's wheel. But less commonly known is that Ptah was a prime creator of the highest echelon in the order of Egyptian gods. He was born of the stars, and he creates through heart intelligence by speaking his creations into form. And so, as a new archetype in a way, or an updated archetype of current times, Ptah is a visionary of the new earth. He intrinsically knows the value of creating from one's true essence, the heart, instead of the false center, the head. And so his heart and his mouth are eternally connected. And descended from the stars, he centers his consciousness in his heart. He takes a deep breath. He envisions his creation, and he speaks it into existence by calling its name. And so I think this is such a fascinating thing to consider. And so we're going to work with that ascension throne in just a little while to create a very powerful guided journey. But before we get there, what I want to bring your focus to for each of you is a very specific question. What is next for you? What is your soul asking of you? You were led to this summit for a reason. It spoke to you. It was meaningful. Wherever you are in your journey, your personal journey, your spiritual journey, your 5D journey, your 3D journey, you are aware of your own process of expansion, ascension, activation, and we'll tune into this more in the guided process. I'll give you the opportunity to be in a space of listening and receiving, but I wanted to plant that seed, because after something like this, I find it valuable to take time to reflect. Why was I called to this? Whose interviews did I watch? What did I get from that? Where is that leading me? What is next for me? And so in the meantime, I would like to offer you a possibility of what might be next for you. Several years ago, while I was lying in Shavasana, I'd finished my yoga practice. I was just lying in corpse pose, and I got this incredible download of a full curriculum of a program in the space of like 30 minutes. And after Shavasana, I jumped up, I got my big whiteboard, I wrote it all down, and in the space of 30 minutes, I had the structure, I had the content, I had the arrangement, it was an unbelievable experience. And it's called Empath Elevation Protocol, Life Codes for Thriving as a Sensitive Soul. And so I am going to, real quick here, copy. I've got the website that I'm going to put in the chat here, so that you can check that out if you desire. So this is a 4-month program that I'm offering, and it's an opportunity to deepen with these mysteries that we've been talking about, to continue working with very practical skills and tools for managing life as an empath, while also looking at this bigger picture perspective, learning to hold a bigger space for ourselves and expand our container. It begins June 11th. And it is designed, if you go to the website where I talk about it, I have a lot of details there, so I'm just plucking out a few things to share with you here. But it is designed to fortify your energy field and help you learn to clear yourself of energies that are not yours. to help you identify what is and is not yours in the first place, so you can more effectively use your intuition to navigate your relationships and your decisions and your moving through your days and weeks and months with smoother sailing, to manage your emotions in healthy, positive ways, to be clear and powerful in your ability to say no and draw healthy boundaries. That is something that, every empath I've ever talked to, it doesn't matter what we've learned or how much we practice, boundaries, there is always more. This program will help you learn to trust your intuition to a greater degree and to use your emotions as your navigation system. In our world, we are so often, our emotions get vilified, or they get made fun of, or they're eschewed in favor of the head. Let's be logical, let's be practical. Your emotions are actually your navigation system. Your emotions will tell you the truth of how you feel and what is meaningful to you. This program will help you make empowered decisions grounded in a strong sense of self, right? We come into this world being such a sponge that it's easy for us to have our locus of identity outside of ourselves and not even know it. And so learning to bring that back and make decisions from within a good centered self so that we can learn to be self-referencing. And so we will also talk about inner authority and personal sovereignty and how to claim that. Practicing self-care without guilt or without sacrificing the loving, generous person that you are. We're going to load up with practices, tools, visualizations, guided processes, systems to help you masterfully manage your energy needs. We're going to talk about embodiment. That's a big, big subject for empaths, because so many times the experiences of our life, the traumas and woundings, kick us out of our body, and we don't even realize that we're not fully inhabiting ourselves. And we will learn to embrace and fully accept that we came to this planet as a way shower in humanity's journey of ascension. And so there are 8 modules that I will personally coach you through. And what I find so cool about this, in that 30-minute download that I was talking about, is these 8 modules created a mnemonic and spell out the word cherubim, which I think is so fantastic. And I talk about this more on the website if that sort of thing interests you. But the personal coaching that you will receive will be in 8 modules. And so the first one is about your energy container. The second one is energy hygiene. We have elevate your frequency, radical self-care, unity between the masculine and feminine. So we're talking about the sacred marriage and bringing the feminine into balance. Boundaries, inner authority, and embodiment. And on the website that I dropped into the chat, all of those things are explained in greater detail. And so as a result of this program, you can expect, a happier you, a healthier you, a more balanced and grounded you who is clear in your boundaries, connected to your cosmic mission, anchored in a strong sense of self, adept at communicating your needs. That's another big one for empaths. Being present in your body, connected to your feelings, being wickedly fastidious with your self-care and energy hygiene practices, trusting your own inner compass, dancing in conscious relationship with your inner masculine and feminine, your inner sacred marriage, and ruling your own queendom or kingdom from your own throne as a sovereign leader of your life. There are also a variety of bonuses that are included, and those are all listed on the website. So it's going to include, there's an embodiment checklist, a deep dive chakra clearing and embodiment meditation. There's going to be some bonus teachings on the 5 energetic patterns that we adopt as coping mechanisms. Each person will get a free 45-minute private coaching, one-on-one coaching session with me. And so there's more things, and you can see all that on the website. The program schedule for this, as I said, it starts June 11th, which is a full moon. So I chose that date on purpose so that we can call upon the energies of the full moon as we launch. And it runs through October 15th. And so it is a weekly meeting on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Central Time. And so there will be a few meetings, a few weeks, and then a day off or a week off. So there will be a few weeks off spattered throughout the program to either honor holidays or prior obligations, or to just give us time to integrate and practice what we're going through. Each call will be 2 hours in length, so each Wednesday it'll be from 11 to 1 Central, and we'll take a break part of the way through. And so if you want to, again, engaging, the 3D and the 5D, right? Learning real world practical skills for navigating life, managing your energy field, drawing boundaries, staying in your center, asking for what you want, while also developing your light body, learning to hold a higher frequency, mastering co-density, living in 3D and 5D simultaneously. I invite you to take this program into your meditation, your dream time, to connect with your spiritual team and see if this is the right next step for you. Right now I have an early bird price that's available. There's a full pay option, and then there's also a 6-month option if monthly payments is better for you. And that early bird price is good through June 1st. And you'll receive a follow-up email as well that'll talk a little bit more about this. And so, as we move back now into the question, right? The question of what is next for you. You've just participated in this summit designed to open you up, to raise your frequency, to expand your consciousness, to bring you clarity, tools, inspiration. What will you do with them? What has this summit called you into? And so I want to read a couple of passages from the Ascension Throne card from my deck. So I'll just, if you haven't seen it before, this is the Ascension Throne card. And I, in addition to writing this oracle deck, I also painted all the images. And so there's a lot of sacred geometry, circles, dots, a lot of beautiful shapes and figures that are throughout the whole deck and the artwork. We know you have long suspected that there is more to Creator and creation than what you were taught. You're right. Your soul contains a grand ancient library of knowledge. It contains stores of pertinent and time-sensitive information that is ready to be revealed to you. That longing you feel is your cosmic eternal heart calling you home to a larger truth. It is time. You are being asked to wake up to your multidimensional self and ascend. Sit upon your ascension throne where time and space bend to bring cosmic wisdom directly to your doorstep. Through this seat of quantum power, portals open to vast stores of knowledge in the Akashic records, the annals of your soul, and all of your past, present, future incarnations. You walked this good earth during enlightened times. Your soul has never been parted from its divine nature. Your ascension throne will reconnect you to what you thought was lost. It will give you access to higher dimensions of consciousness from which you can retrieve guidance, perspective, and sophisticated knowledge. Your ascension throne will transport you to elevated states to help you fortify your Ka body, your precious energy field, so that you may more fully achieve your sacred mission on earth. And so I am calling you now into this guided process. And so you might consider, if this idea of an ascension throne really calls to you, you might think about a chair, a seat, a cushion, a spot in your house or out in your garden that might serve this role for you. But for the moment, wherever you are seated, just imagine, closing your eyes now, what your ascension throne might look like. Calling in the energies of the Egyptian god Ptah, and what I shared about his Ascension Throne, and that he is a prime creator in the Egyptian pantheon of gods. Call in Ptah. Call in your higher self, your soul, your spiritual team. Feel yourself preparing the space energetically around you. If you need to imagine setting up a field, setting up boundaries, calling in your guides. Sometimes I will call in my team and ask them to just stand in a sacred circle around me to hold space, to witness. And so I invite you into deep and rhythmic inhales and exhales. Bringing yourself into coherence, bringing yourself into a calm state, feeling your groundedness through your root chakra, through your feet, connecting deeply to Mother Earth, feeling yourself centered within yourself, releasing any agitation or thoughts about what you need to do after this call. If there's any part of you that's in the past running conversations through your head or thinking about something that happened, leave that in the past. If there's any part of you in the future making lists or worrying or running through your week, leave that in the future. Call yourself present so that you can show up fully for yourself in this experience as you sit on your Ascension Throne. And as you tune into this energetically, you might get images in your mind, you might get sensations in your body or a knowingness, but just take a moment to pay attention to, or to even list for yourself, what does your throne look like? What is it made of? How is it constructed? What does it feel like? And feel yourself settling in, because this Ascension Throne is a sentient entity. It has its own agency, if you will, but it doesn't come fully online until you, just like putting a plug into an outlet, when you plug yourself into your Ascension Throne, it lights up, it turns on, it activates. And so in a moment, I'm going to do a little bit of chanting to help raise the energies and to activate the throne even further. And we will chant together 3 ancient words that come from, they're historically Egyptian: Ka, Ba, and Ra. And when we chant these, we will do them slowly. We'll draw out each syllable so that we can feel the vibration in our vocal cords. We can feel the resonating chambers in our throat, our mouth, our nasal cavities. Ka refers to the energy body or spirit. Ba refers to the higher self or soul, the part of us that can travel between the worlds. And more than just the sun god, you might know Ra as the sun god. Ra represents life-giving, high-vibrating, electromagnetic life force pulse of the universe transmitted through our central sun. So as we intone Ka, Ba, and Ra, you'll notice, I imagine, a very palpable buzzing in your field as these chants build on each other. And so I will chant a few of these in sequence, and you are welcome to just listen, but I invite you, if you're in a place where you can, to do it out loud so you can get the benefit of the physical experience of these sounds moving through your body. Ka. Ba. So in your own practice, you can repeat these sounds for as long as you like, but in this moment, I invite you to just feel how your body feels just after 3 repetitions. Personally, I am buzzing. I can feel just how much my energy field has expanded, how my frequency has raised, and I'm getting signs that my body gives me that I'm in a very altered state. And so while you are in this space of openness, of feeling, of sensing, being connected through your Ascension Throne to your spiritual team, your own energy body, your higher self and your soul, I ask you to bring that question into your field. What is next for you? What is your soul calling you into? And I will be silent for a few moments while you allow whatever needs to come forward for you to come in. And for those of you watching this on the replay, you can pause here as long as you need to receive the full message and experience that's there for you. And so know that even though we are moving on in our closing ceremonies, that this question can remain open in your psyche, and you can continue to receive whatever it is that your soul is infusing you with. And so I invite you to gently wiggle a little bit, wiggle fingers and toes, take a deep breath. Flutter your eyes open softly, allow the room to come back into view. If you need a moment to write something down from that experience, take a couple notes, please feel free to do that. In the meantime, I'm going to drop the URL into the chat again so that if participating in Empath Elevation Protocol life codes for thriving as a sensitive soul, if that calls to you, if that feels like the right next step, check it out. Feel free to contact me if you have questions about it. But more important than that is just to answer the question for yourself. What is next for you? What are you being called into? And so I'd love to hear if you are willing to share just a quick bit in the chat of what you got out of your journey with the Ascension Throne. If it was just a beautiful experience, or you got a message, or you got some clarity, if you'd like to share just a sentence or two in the chat, I'd love to hear a few experiences of what that brought for you. It's a very, very powerful setup, if you will. You know, there's a lot of different ways to go into altered states, to go to different dimensions, but I find the Ascension Throne and the Kabbara to be very, very powerful. And if any of you work with the Merkaba, that's another beautiful ascension vehicle that's very similar, that can give you similar experiences as well. So I'll just monitor the chat. If there's anything in there that anyone would like to share, that would be fantastic. No expectations. And so as we bring this all to a close, I just want to offer my thanks and my gratitude for being here with me in the closing ceremonies, for the speakers who are here. Thank you to you and to all of the speakers who said yes and who so generously offered their time and their free gifts to be a part of this, to make this an amazing experience. For all the almost 1,600 people that registered, I truly pray that you received something of great value from this. And so I'm going to, in the Pachacuti Mesa tradition, the shamanic tradition that I practice, I'm going to close the mesa, close the energetic field, and I do that by toning the directions one time each. And so if you were with me in the opening ceremonies, it's the same: Pachamama, Mama Kia, Wiracocha, Inti, and Kuichi. You're not expected to chant these with me if you don't know them, or if you feel uncomfortable. I'm just telling you what to expect. And so I am going to chant these, and then we will have our final comments. Mama Kia, Wiracocha, Inti, Kuichi. We thank all of the elements, the directions, all of our guides and helpers, the unseen realms, the animal totems, all the benevolent beings of love and light, and all those who came to be a part of this. We thank you for holding this space. And with these incantations of the directions, we close the energies, we close the summit, We close the field and we send everyone forward in their lives with prayers and blessings of hope and inspiration, of clarity and love and trust, expansiveness, abundance, and not just this or something better, but better than you could ever have imagined. And so, thank you. You may open your eyes. And while the summit is closed and we are complete, if there's ever anything I can do for you, if you have questions for me or just want to reach out or desire further support of some kind, I have many services and offerings. Do not hesitate to reach out. All of my love and blessings and gratitude to each of you. Thank you so much.